everybody? That was too loud. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Q&A. This is the Damnedest Q&A Ever. I hate that word. I wasn't going to use it, but I ended up using it because grammar, you know. Hey, Cypher. Thanks for being the first one during the first 25 seconds of the stream. Wow, usually I have to wait until 1 minute starts or has elapsed before I see anybody in the chat. Another one, Melphis is there. There we go. We're live. Thank you for joining, everybody. How are you today? Welcome to another Q&A. Today we have another Versus episode, like in every Sunday. This is something that started like 4 streams ago. There's been 5 episodes so far. 5 episodes, I can't believe it. I can't believe the series has lasted this long. 4 of those episodes are available on my main channel, edited with gameplay footage. You get to see what the fans have to say about each game they're trying to defend. And you get to see the results of the poll. And then you get to see or listen to my argument while you watch sweet gameplay footage of the games we're talking about. How's that, huh? That's a cool series, interesting series. Hopefully in time it'll pick up just a bit, because it's just, you know, a little bit of extra content. And we're having a lot of fun. So we're gonna do episode 6 today. Right. Hope you guys are excited. Hello, Metal Wolf. The longest 5 minutes was an awesome stream. Yes, it was. That was a fun game. I'm still playing it. I kept playing the game for a big chunk of the night. I played the game early this morning. Yeah, I heard I read it's a pretty short game. You can beat it in like 8 to 10 hours. So I'll probably beat it today, maybe, or maybe tomorrow. I don't know. And I want to talk about it as soon as I can. So we'll see. What's up, Kevin? What's up, Gamer? What's up, Paul? What's up, Morbid? Thanks for joining. I hate how nowadays, you know, well, you guys don't give shit about this. Anyway. Nice music from Trails of Cold Steel, the first one. The one that everybody wants on Switch just because they want to own it on Switch, but are never going to play on Switch. And what is this? Let me see if I can improve the... Nope. This is all you can see, you know. Leticia. Well, this is pretty much the Leticia battle theme. The regular battle theme when you play as Leticia in Star Ocean the Divine Force. Decided to put it here today for no reason. Hope you guys are okay with that. Because if you're not, you can fuck off. I am playing Octopath Traveler 1 on my PS5 while watching your Q&A. Really? What a coincidence that you're playing Octopath Traveler 1. What a coincidence. That's all I'm gonna say. So let's begin with your damn questions. I don't see any questions. What's going on? I've been thinking about trying out a new idea for the Q&As. Besides the Versus episodes. Like doing something else, but this is something else. I don't think it will be turned into a video, or I don't know. Haven't thought about it. You know, it could work. It could, I don't know, but it could definitely work for fun here in the Q&As. It will only take us like, I don't know, 20 minutes, half an hour to do, maybe max. I'm thinking about. I'm cooking something. I'm trying to cook something extra. Maybe, I don't know, eventually get a new camera and turn the Q&As into a full-fledged show. It's gonna get hundreds of thousands of views, right? Yeah. That's not the most question asked, the most asked question ever. I only played the demo, and that's it. I only played the demo. And Nice America Hopefully you guys watched my video yesterday, my second channel. If you didn't, that's okay. I explained why I'm no longer working with Nissan America. They fired me. They didn't fire me, they just broke relations with me. Because I'm politically incorrect. Because I'm me, like many other YouTubers out there, are on some kind of blacklist that PR companies share amongst each other about YouTubers that speak against their awful politics. They're super awful politics. The US government and the politics enforced by the mafia that have taken over the entertainment industry. And very few companies, very few artists, very few studios are resisting, whereas everybody else is falling victim to this. Well, maybe some of them aren't falling victim to it. Maybe they're just, you know, doing this willingly. What's this? This sounds like Motoi Sakuraba. Is this Tales of Destiny 2? I want to show you something, guys. Give me a minute. It's going to serve the purpose of pissing off YouTube, but they already fucking despise me, so what's the point of not talking about this anymore? Okay. Trails through daybreak. Trails through daybreak. That's Trails Through Daybreak for you. Translated and localized by Nissan America, who no longer wants to send me review codes for anything and who have broke contact with me and destroyed the very cool business relationship that I had with the company. The two awesome guys that I was in contact with for a few years no longer work for the company. They hired a bunch of people that don't agree with their politics, and then all of a sudden they stopped replying to my messages, and then I find out the game is released and I find out it's like this. Yep, this is the English Nissan America localization of Trails Through Daybreak, and why they want nothing to do with me anymore. Nice working for ya, with ya, Nissan America. Through all these years, you won't be missed. Yep. Anyway, what's your most difficult strategy JRPG? Well, I have 3 games to answer your question. I think the first one is most likely... number 1 will definitely be Natural Doctrine. That's an extremely difficult game. First and foremost because it is extremely hard to understand. Probably one of the most complex video games, not just RPGs, one of the most complex and convoluted video games of all time. Because it's complex, but it's also convoluted. And convoluted in a negative connotation. Like sometimes some games may be convoluted, you know, but they're still kind of good. You know, if you stick to them, you know, they become good games. You kind of try to understand them and you succeed. Or you succeed somehow in understanding some part of it. And then you like them and you appreciate them. But Natural Doctrine is a game I couldn't appreciate, hard as I tried. I really wanted to like it. Should have put that video in my latest video. My last video, 10 JRPGs I really wanted to like. Believe it or not, I really wanted to like Natural Doctrine. But anyway, so... Yeah, it just seemed like a fun game. It seemed like a great idea, but everything was poorly executed, like extremely convoluted, complicated, and on top of it all, it was brutal. You know, sometimes some games can be extremely complicated, but once you get the gist of them, they're not that hard. Natural Doctrine is freaking hard no matter what. Whether you understand it or not, it's freaking brutal, and I hate it because it's bad. Convoluted, brutally hard, and bad. That's the worst possible combination for a video game, right? What about games that are bad but they're easy? You kind of give them a chance, right? Like, okay, you know, at least it's an easy game, you know, let's just get this over with. But brutally hard, extremely hard to understand, and bad, that's Natural Doctrine for you. And that's possibly the hardest strategy JRPG of all time. Probably a second place will be Fire Emblem Thracia 776. That's a mixed bag. It has a lot of great things about it, and it has a lot of bad things about it. It's one of the worst Fire Emblem games of all time, but also one of the best. One of the best because it's so creative, and because the story and the music is awesome. But one of the worst because it's broken. The game was rushed. It was released late in the Super Famicom era. It never came out of Japan. It wasn't properly tested. It was released just like that, rushed. Like, oh, release it now, but hey, we need more testing. No, release it now, said Nintendo probably. Man, the game ended up being a broken-ass mess with broken RNG and horrendous difficulty spikes, and it's just extremely difficult. But unlike Natural Doctrine, it isn't hard to understand, and I beat the game. It's the hardest video game I ever beat in my whole life, so that will be my second place. And I guess the third place will be, I don't know. I made a video about this. I think I remember making a video back in 2021. Hardest strategy JRPGs of all time. Check it out. Maybe my numbers have changed. Maybe Thracia is number 1 in that video, or no longer number 1. I don't remember. But if I had to pick a third one, it will probably be either Nights in the Nightmare, because just like Natural Doctrine, it's just so hard to understand. It's kind of bad too. Or Spectral Souls on the PSP, which is a freaking nightmare of a game. One of the biggest grindfests of all time. Or I could just pick, the first Disgaea, or the entirety of the Disgaea series. But yeah, you get the idea. Those are some of the hardest strategy JRPGs. Anyway, do you think The Legend of Zelda could work as a strategy JRPG? Wow. Sure, a lot of, well, maybe no, I don't think so, unless you play as, I don't know, who will be your party members? Link, Zelda, Navi, and who else? Some new characters? I think Nintendo could do with Zelda what they did with Mario. They could make a turn-based RPG based on The Legend of Zelda, with characters from the series and new characters, like what they did with Super Mario RPG. I think there should be a turn-based RPG based on The Legend of Zelda. I will play it. I don't play Zelda games, I'm not appealed to them. They just don't appeal to me. I don't know, there's something about them that I don't care for, but I don't think they're bad games. Most of them are great games, apparently, and maybe one day I'll be able to appreciate them. I'm a fan of A Link to the Past, but I play the others, Ocarina, Twilight Princess, the Game Boy games, Link's Awakening, and for some reason I never got far into them. Four Swords, I remember playing Four Swords, and for some reason the Zelda games were like really fun for me at the beginning, during the first hour, but after that I lost interest for some reason. Not for me, but a turn-based RPG a la Super Mario RPG based on The Legend of Zelda? I don't understand why that didn't happen back in the day. I mean, I'm not saying every Nintendo IP should have a turn-based RPG, Kirby, Metroid. It would be fucking great, I admit that, and I will play the shit out of them. But for some reason, it just makes perfect sense to make a turn-based RPG based on Zelda, right? It would be awesome, right? With similar gameplay mechanics, maybe. I don't know, or something different, whatever they want to do. But a strategy RPG based on The Legend of Zelda, well, it could work for fans of strategy RPGs, but it wouldn't work for most Zelda fans or fans in general. I don't think it would be a good idea to make a strategy RPG based on The Legend of Zelda. Turn-based RPG will sell like crazy, trust me. Strategy RPG? I don't think so, unless the turn-based RPG happens first, right? Yeah, I will definitely play that game, man. Thank you, Kent Maddox, for the donation. Not really a question, but after seeing these Trails news, Dragon Quest 3 news, and Eiyuden Chronicles bad translation, I think I'm just going to stop buying new games. I've got a huge backlog now anyways. I am of the same mentality, even though I had already this mentality back in the day. I've always been the type of guy to never buy games at launch. Sometimes fans send me brand new games that came out recently, and that's how I get to play them. Or sometimes, when companies weren't that fucking political, they used to send me review codes like Nice America, you know, and that's how I got to play them before launch and make my review and upload my review the day they came out, right? But it's been a while. I think the last ones that I got were indie games or obscure games like Scars of Mars or Cards RPG. You know, I did get Eiyuden Chronicle was the last review code I got from a big company. After that, you know, like I said, you know, these companies are controlled by the mafia, and they don't want to work with people like me anymore. For obvious reasons, because I'm the type of person that speaks openly and publicly against political bullshit. Not just left-wing bullshit, you know, which is the dominant political wing nowadays. I've always spoken up against the right wing as well. I hate politics, no matter where they come from. No offense to anybody, but at the same time, yeah, get offended, I don't give a shit. I fucking hate politics, right? They destroy entertainment, and they have destroyed entertainment, and they have destroyed my relationship with a lot of companies. Atlus, Nice America now, Bandai Namco, I don't even know if Koei Tecmo, maybe, I don't know, I have no idea. And last but not least, maybe Square Enix. Square Enix only seems to send me Star Ocean review codes. They send me nothing else. Nothing of any video game in existence they do, they send me nothing. But Star Ocean, they never miss. They always send them. Fuck if I know why, man. I have no idea why. But yeah, I've been saying this for the past couple of months. I made a video called the Eiyuden Chronicle, the localization, that pissed the crap out of YouTube, and they put apparently a big shadow ban on my channel. Not if I'm still getting some views, it's because of you guys, because my audience is watching those videos, right? But I'm not getting recommended anymore to the general public. I'm barely getting any subscribers or new viewers. You know, I went from being like on a normal place to almost the abyss because of that video. And since then, most renowned studios like Atlus, you know, stuff like that, you know, like Nice America, they want nothing to do with me anymore. So what I'm trying to say in relationship to your comment is that I been forced to acquire the same mentality, like to try to stay away from modern JRPGs, unfortunately. And yes, I know I'm going to lose a lot of fans and a lot of viewers because of that. And I've been losing a lot of viewers because of that. And if you want to quit right now this channel, thanks for being a fan for all these years, months, or weeks, or days, or seconds. You know, but what can I do? Do you think I'm going to have the motivation to play and recommend modern JRPGs with modern politics by companies who fucking hate me, who want nothing to do with me? What would you do in my place? Just wait for sales, never go wrong for a discount. Exactly, you know, that's what I've been trying to tell people, you know. Emulate, pirate everything you can, emulate whatever the fuck you can. And I know I'm a console guy, and this is gonna sound very weird and contradictory coming from me, but for those who play on Steam, stick to Steam. Stay away from consoles. Stay away from the console market if you can, because it's been overrun by fucking politics. It's horrible, man. And Steam, there's a lot of fan translations and a lot of mods, you know, and it can work. I think there's already a different translation for Eiyuden Chronicle on Steam for the Steam version. Maybe one day we'll be able to hack the PlayStation 4, the PS5 properly, and in a way that everybody can do it, you know, because right now only certain people with certain knowledge can hack the PlayStation 4. It isn't easy. Hell, it isn't easy to hack some versions of the PlayStation 3. You know, emulation is way behind, man. Some Switch models cannot be hacked easily. But hopefully one day, you know, everything will be easily hacked. and fans can insert these proper translations without politics, and we can finally play these games without political bullshit. Imagine that. 13 Sentinels without the non-binary bullshit. Trails Through the Daybreak, or Eiyuden Chronicle. How about Persona 3 Reload without the censorship? You know, stuff like that. Anyway, so Sakaguchi also teased he's probably working on a sequel to Fantasia. Okay. He would like to bring back Terra Battle for consoles. That's gonna be great. Hopefully they will respect the translation. And for Fantasia, now that it's coming to Switch, hopefully they will respect the English translation from years ago when it got released on mobile. Someone, I think Nemo Propaganda, you guys have seen this guy. Great YouTube channel, by the way. If the guy shows up, check out his YouTube channel. This is a guy, he told me here in the Q&As, a couple of Q&As ago, that he played Fantasia and that he didn't see any political bullshit. So hopefully Fantasia will be left alone, left intact for when it releases on Switch. What the hell were we listening to? What's this? Guardians Crusade? This is the battle theme of Guardians Crusade? This is pretty damn nice. Guardians Crusade, that's a really obscure turn-based RPG on the PlayStation 1. This is one of the most obscure games on the PS1, man. And it's a pretty interesting game, but it gets boring real quickly. I don't think I can recommend this game, which is why I barely talked about it. I think I've covered this game like 2 times in my whole YouTube career. It's not a great game, let's leave it at that, but it's not bad. It's okay at best, you know, but this battle theme... I had a lot of unknowns. Roland's Curse too. Pretty cool, huh? So, thank you, Mad Radio. Thanks a bunch, man. I caught a glimpse of a JRPG on PSP. Dark fantasy, similar in style to Chaos Legion. Anyone can remember? Damn. How about... I don't know why the first game that came into my mind, the first JRPG on the PSP was Lord of Arcana. But it's kind of different. You don't summon monsters to fight by your side. No. When you mean style in Chaos Legion, do you mean like action RPG? Or do you mean like any genre? Because I can quote any Shin Megami Tensei game. You'd summon creatures to fight by your side, you know. But there are no Shin Megami Tensei games on the PSP except the Persona games, actually. Anyway, Lore of Arcana maybe? It could be Lore of Arcana. Though I don't know, I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, when you play some old games emulated, do you ever use fan patches? Yes, yeah. I've been using the... oh, you mean patches for the games that were localized. Like for the 7th Saga, right? There's one for the 7th Saga that reduces the difficulty. There's one for Pop Full Mail that also reduces the difficulty, you know, because Pop Full Mail, the Working Designs version, was freaking ridiculous, man. So I haven't played those patches, to be honest. But I do play fan-translated games all the time. I'm currently playing a game called Bahamut Lagoon on the Super Famicom. I'm playing the fan-translated version. The first one, there's 2 translations. The second one wouldn't work on my PS TV. The first one worked okay, so that's the one that I'm about to finish it, right? Expect coverage of that game coming soon. What was the last JRPG that came to PlayStation Vita? I have no idea, man. I made a video about that. That was a long time ago. The first and the last JRPG released on every single console. And I don't remember which one was on the PS Vita. I'm pretty sure it's gotta be a Kemco game. For some reason, I think it's gotta be a Kemco RPG. Probably. I don't know which one. I don't remember. I think it's Dragon something. Anyway, check out that video. There's 3 videos. There's one called The Last JRPG released on every console, and then there's a compilation of both called The First and the Last JRPG on every console. Check whichever video you want, and you'll see it there. But I think it's probably a Kemco JRPG. They released on the PS Vita because it was dying, but they released the game everywhere else, and nobody gave a shit about the PS Vita version. Do you think that the Megami Tensei franchise wasn't only influential, but that it kind of revolutionized JRPGs and more specifically the monster taming genre? Yes, I do. I've talked about this before. You know, the SMT series are extremely influential games, and I have a lot of reasons to believe that they influenced Pokemon, which is the king of monster taming games, the king of the monster taming genre, Pokemon, right? Shin Megami Tensei came before, like almost 10 years before Pokemon ever existed. So I don't know if the guys from Pokemon have ever confirmed or said that they took influence from Megami Tensei, but all I'm saying is that Megami Tensei came first. Oh, Lord of Arcana, so I was right. You're welcome. Have you ever tried Revelations the Demon Slayer? Yes, on the Game Boy Color. I never finished it. To be honest, it wasn't for me, but it's a good game. I think it isn't a bad game. If Nintendo sends you their new Mario and Luigi game for Switch, will you play it? First and foremost, they won't, because Nintendo is a bit more serious and Nintendo actually offers money. And you know what happened last time with Paper Mario? They said, we can't pay you because you live in Mexico. Wow. And I was like, fuck you, man. So, no. The answer to your question is no. How do you feel about the state of JRPG channels on YouTube? I don't know. I don't watch them, man. All I know is that I've talked about this a million times, so I'm just gonna be real quick, that everybody seems to be ripping everybody off, that all they do is use the same ideas as everybody else and do recommendation lists. I still do them, not because of that, but because I've been doing them since 2014. Okay, I've been doing this for 10 years, man. But a lot of new channels and a lot of old channels started doing this years ago, and they're still doing it, and it's a swarm of top 10s out there, you know, but that's what people want to watch, you know. I don't know those JRPG channels, I don't watch them, but on my case, 9 out of 10 times that I try to do something different or introduce new ideas, they get rejected by the fans or shadow banned by YouTube, or nobody fucking watches them, and I always end up coming back to top 10s, to doing lists. And well, I like doing lists. So there you go. If I didn't, I will probably quit YouTube or do something else. But thankfully, despite being this huge and massive gangbang of top 10 JRPG top 10s, I still enjoy doing them. No criticism, no discussion of interesting topics from games, no discussion of problems like translation, all sugar, rainbows, and sunshine. Because that's the safe. If that's what they're doing, I didn't know that's what they were doing, but if that's what JRPG channels are doing, it's because it's the same thing a lot of publishers are doing, you know. They want to play it safe, because safe nowadays, you know, it's in favor of YouTube's politics, which are left-wing, and yeah, they don't want to offend anybody, they don't want to get into controversies, they don't want to be destroyed on Reddit or other forums, you know, like I have. So they probably have seen what happens when you share your opinion on certain things, and they want nothing to do with that. Do I respect them for that? No, I don't. But can you blame them? No. Anyway, so that's all I'm gonna say. Will we ever get an Ever Nights review? Ever Nights? I don't know that game. Sounds familiar, but I don't know that game. Anyway. Yes, there's a Versus episode today. Some people were asking about it. We're going to do a Versus episode. Forever. Okay, not forever, but on every Q&A from now on. Maybe forever, I don't know, but this is a thing that's going to be every Q&A. Dragon Quest V did it first, and then Pokemon took the inspiration. You sure about that? Do you have any source of Game Freak admitting that they took influence from Dragon Quest V? Your top monster taming Pokemon-like game. Hong Luong, you've been a long fan of this channel. You should know by now that I'm not a fan of Pokemon or Pokemon-like games. But if I can give you one that's kind of similar, Shin Megami Tensei. Not Shin Megami Tensei. I don't know, man. I just don't like Monster Hunter stories. 1 and 2. That counts, right? It's gotta count. Did you know that Square Enix will remove the genres from the next Dragon Quest remake? Not the genres, the genders. Yes, of course, Sweet Baby is involved. Sweet Baby works for the big-ass companies like BlackRock and Vanguard, you know, who are billionaires companies that have permission from the United States of America government to enforce this politics on as many entertainment companies as you can find. We all know that. It's all news. We kind of knew this already, but what happened with the Black Myth Wukong drama confirmed it. They're a fucking mafia, a really evil and really powerful mafia, backed by the U.S. government. So, yeah. It's super fucked up, man. What are your thoughts on the Dragon Racing on Bahamut Lagoon? I will not share any thoughts whatsoever with Bahamut Lagoon because I'm about to make my review of it that I'll include in the video coming soon. Have you ever done a room tour of your collection? Several of them. I haven't done one in a long time, actually, now that I think about it. But the reason is because I haven't collected a lot of things yet. I think the last collection video that I did was the PS4, my PS4 collection video, which I did on December of last year, 2023. But about my entire YouTube collection, the video game collection, I think the last one was in 2020, November. Yeah, one of the first videos I did when I came back from Canada. It's called my RPG collection finally reunited, and I showed everything that I had back then. I don't feel like I have collected that many games yet to make an update, because I've been making these videos for like since 2018. 2018 was the first one, then 2019, then 2020, and that's when I stopped. Yeah, I think a new one is in order, probably, but like I said, I just don't think I have enough games. Or maybe I do, maybe. Is it time? The problem is that I stopped collecting retro games. Why? For the same reasons as many of you. Because fucking prices are fucking stupid. And they're still stupid nowadays. Not as stupid as they were 2 years ago. They come down in price, but stupid nonetheless. If you know Spanish, I just uploaded a video on my channel, Discusión Gamer, with my friend Oscar, where we talked about this. I uploaded the video like an hour and a half ago. But yeah. So in terms of retro, I don't think it's worth doing another video. But in terms of new games, maybe PS4, PS5, Switch, it could be worth it. I don't know, I'll think about it. Thanks, Nemo Propaganda. We were just talking about you, man. Had you joined 15 minutes ago. So this is the guy I was talking about, people. Like, he's the one who told me that Fantasia has no political bullshit. And Nemo Propaganda is a YouTuber with, oh man, I forget the name of the things that you talk about in English. the audio stuff, you know. Well, kind of like similar to amplifiers. Man, come on, man. Advertise yourself in my Q&A right now if you want. Anyway, he says that you start Daybreak only 5 hours in. It is low, like all the first Trails games. I feel like it keeps talking me out of the... okay. So you missed something, Nemo. You missed this. You're playing Trails through Daybreak. The first thing you have to know is that it is kind of slow. Maybe not as slow as others, but it is kind of slow. It's the first one of the saga, of a new saga. So it's probably going to be slow. I played the demo and it was about 10 hours long if you do everything. And yeah, it's a bit slow, to be honest. A bit slow. But then eventually you're going to notice this. Stuff like this. Yeah. Sorry to break it to you, man, but yeah. Trails through Daybreak destroyed by the Mafia. There you go, buddy. Sorry. Speakers and subwoofers. Subwoofers. That's the word I was looking for. So yeah. Check out Nemo Propaganda's channel, guys. Great channel about speakers and subwoofers. If you care about sound. I care about sound. I have an amplifier. a Vox Pathfinder for my guitar that's really fuzzy and gives that industrial rock, industrial metal sound that I freaking love. And I play a lot of, I'm a variety player when it comes to rock genres, maybe some rock pop too here and there, you know, and I play everything from punk, grunge, metal, industrial metal, you know, and for some genres it sounds like shit, you know. I try to play, I don't know, Deftones, Nine Inch Nails, Tool even, it sounds fantastic, right? Even some grunge songs, you know, some grunge, some Nirvana songs, some Pearl Jam songs, but others sound like crap, you know. Yeah. Anyway, so I missed a lot of questions. JRPGs with the most complicated damage formulas? Well, Natural Doctrine is one of those. The damage you inflict on your enemies depends on a lot of things. Resonance of Fate, another one. Anyway, I think it's a call then for a room tour. No, that guy was acting... the question was about a collection tour. I can do that. It's right behind me. That's my collection. But a room tour, look at my room. Look at this boring ass room, man. I have to decorate. I need some posters, some paintings, some frames, something, right? To make it a proper game room. Right now it's kind of boring. It's not gonna work. But once I start decorating this studio, this room, you bet your ass I'll do a game room tour. You want an anime style versus Arc tournament JRPG. Okay. Do you think Nintendo will release another iteration of the 3DS? No, I think it's gonna be Switch 2, and that's it. I don't think Nintendo will ever release another portable system that's not in the hybrid mentality or design. Do you have any recommendations for unique hentai? No. Divided on the PSP, check that out. I don't really watch hentai. I've talked about this before, but hentai is just, come on, I don't know, man. Something off about it. I don't get off on hentai. It's just weird, man. How many of the Final Fantasy games have you played? Oh, you mean the main series or every single one of them? Because I haven't played that many, but the main series I've played almost every single one of them. I've never played 11 and 14 because they're MMORPGs, and I don't play those. I stay away from those. I'm an MMO X-addict, MMORPG X-addict. So I don't play MMORPGs. I quit a long time ago, and I don't think I'll ever go back. Especially not nowadays. I mean, imagine, I don't know how many of you play MMORPGs, but with the current political situation, man, joining a party with a bunch of people that may or may not resist discussing crappy politics in the chat, that's gotta be awful. Another reason not to play MMORPGs. But anyway, I've played every single one of them. With the exception of 11 and 14, of the main titles, I've played every single one of them. Well, I never played Lightning Returns, because I couldn't care less about the first two. But yeah. Have you talked about Dragon Warrior 3? Yes, already. It's fucking bullshit. But it's Square Enix, so are you really surprised? Erick, do you... Oh, man. I'm so behind. Sorry, guys. Repeat your goddamn question if I fucking missed it. What? Do you think level 5 has stagnated with its video games? Stagnated as in the quality decreased? I don't think so. Stagnated as we haven't heard much about them lately? Yes. Has it ever come to your mind that you will change the RPG name in your channel into JRPG, since most of your videos in your channel are about JRPGs? Yeah, a long time ago, but it just sounds better, Erick Landon RPG than Erick Landon JRPG. And I do cover a lot of indie RPGs, especially in the past couple of years. I've been covering a lot of indie RPGs that are not from Japan, so it wouldn't make any sense, man. We got some Blue Dragon Awakened Shadow music. What's this? Dusk Diver 2. Not a great game, but the music is phenomenal. And take care, Erick. Do you like better how the music sounds in the SNES or the Genesis? Oof, good question. I think I'm gonna go with the Genesis. You know, in terms of music, it just had a better sound chip. Sure, it sounds very stereo-ish, whereas the SNES chip sounds a little bit more mono, more comprised, compressed. That's the word I'm looking for, compressed. But yeah, I prefer the Genesis, but they're both okay. You need figures and especially plushies. No, not a fan of figures and plushies. I just need more posters and frames and whatnot. Waifu posters coming soon, maybe. What did the Mafia do to Trails Through Daybreak? You didn't see the screenshot? Go back 15 minutes ago, man, or at the beginning of the stream. Have you talked about Dragon Warrior 3? Yes. Fuck Square Enix, man. What's your favorite obscure PS1? My favorite obscure PS1 game? Favorite obscure PS1 JRPG will probably be Tear Ring Saga. Never came out of Japan, it's fan translated. It's freaking amazing, but it's also extremely hard. For some reason I beat the game, and I to date I still can't believe it. I don't know how I beat the game, but I beat it. And it wasn't using cheats or something like that, you know. I beat it fair and square, and I'm still flabbergasted. I could never beat that game again. Never. I love it, you know. But if we're talking about strictly games that did come to North America, that were localized. JRPG, my favorite obscure PS1 JRPG, quite possibly Vanguard the Bandits. Pretty obscure, localized by Working Designs. That's why it's so obscure. Yeah, I will go with that one. Really obscure game, love it. Strategy RPG, love it. An obscure game, no RPG. I have one. It's called Rapid Reload. Developed by the same guys who developed the Wild Arms games. Media Vision. It's a run and gun. Also Wild West style and with some science fiction elements. Pretty damn good, but it didn't come to North America. Only in Japan and Europe. Anyway. Thank you, Barton. You come from a time of true gamers. It's rare to find people like us anymore. It's rare because a lot of true gamers like us, based gamers, they quit social media, they quit YouTube, they quit any social media you can imagine. They choose lurk every now and then, but they don't interact with people. And if you try to find people like us, you won't, because Google hides search results that involves people like us, or that involves something positive about people like us. We're millions, you know, there's millions, if not billions of people like you and me, man. But, you know, Google will show you only the negativity that's spoken about people like you and me. Have you played Blood of Behemoth? No. Excited for the coming of East games? Not anymore. I mean, the Mafia has destroyed the translation of Trails Through Daybreak. I have no hopes for East 10 anymore. Do you think Sony will release their next PSP in 2025? I think they're probably waiting on Nintendo to do something first, and then they'll do something about it. Which Metroidvania is the last one you enjoyed playing and finished it? I don't like Metroidvanias. And recently I got a game called Degrees of Separation, which is an environmental puzzle game, but it's also a Metroidvania. And this morning I was like, man, why did it have to be a fucking Metroidvania, man? I'm just so fucking tired of them, man. I'm starting to hate them. I mean, no offense to Metroidvania fans. If you dig the genre and enjoy it, good, you know, but I'm just sick of them. There's way too many. Are you interested in the game Tsukihime? No, I don't know what that is, man. Tsukihime, isn't that Princess? Isn't that Princess Maker? Anyway, no versus today. Yes, we have a versus episode today. You bet your ass we do. Just wait a bit more. We're gonna do it in a bit. Oh, it added new things. Sorry, I just noticed something. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot sold 8 million copies? Wow. That's insane. That's a really good game. It's kind of open worldish, and yes, it's the same recycled story we've seen a million times in 10,000 video games and the anime show. But the battle system, the exploration, the controls, the graphics, it's a really good game, man. 8 million copies, that's just freaking crazy. How often do you go on a challenge run on JRPGs without getting a party wipe? I don't do that. I don't care about challenges or speed runs or stuff like that. I don't do that. You're welcome, Jason. Oh, right now the volume is really low. Yeah. There we go. Can you hear it? What JRPGs do I think have good political intrigue? 9 out of 10 strategy RPGs have great political intrigue. Shantae isn't what I will call a Metroidvania. At least not some of the games. Which game got destroyed worse by localization? I don't know. I mean, Eiyuden Chronicle wasn't that bad, you know. 13 Sentinels, maybe. But at the same time, it was just that one character. I don't know, man. I don't have any fetishes, man. Not sorry to disappoint. I'm a normal guy. Where do you see the state of JRPGs in 10 years in regards to gameplay evolution and how politics could revolve around storytelling? I refuse to answer your question. Your question in the second part of your question, because it's crystal clear that if the big, powerful publishers and how the fuck do you fight the U.S. government, man? Who are enforcing those very same politics. Because it will be great to say, oh, you know, somebody should destroy BlackRock and Vanguard and all those fucking companies, right? But the US government's still there. The Mexican government, the Canadian government, you know, it's a lot of governments in the world, man. It's like they want to provoke people. I fear World War III is coming, unfortunately, because people eventually are going to explode. But where do I see in terms of gameplay, evolution? I think JRPGs... Okay, so where do I see the state of JRPGs in 10 years in regards to gameplay evolution? Well, I think a lot of... when it comes to JRPGs, we've seen this before since the 80s. And it's the same within any entertainment business. We started saying this. We were just talking about Metroidvanias and how there's just way too many of them because they start trending. You know, they start getting popular and everybody wants to do them, right? So JRPGs have been no different. In the beginning, you know, there were a lot of games like The Legend of Zelda, which isn't exactly what I would consider an RPG, but it influenced a lot of RPGs. So they started developing a lot of Zelda clones. And then there was Dragon Warrior and Final Fantasy, so they started developing a lot of clones. And then you get the idea, right? So I think in 10 years, something different might trend. Because we've seen a lot of trends and they don't last that long. Right now, we're still in the Metroidvania, roguelite, Souls-like, you know, those are the three predominant genres to rip off of, to make games based on, you know, to copy, clone, but it might start dying kind of soon. Open worlds, that's another thing, so we might see another trend, maybe a different genre, a different subgenre, or something else might take over in terms of gameplay, and we might see a shift. We might stop seeing all of those Souls influenced games or action RPGs and Metroidvanias and open worlds, you know, all of those roguelites, you know, we might start seeing them less and less and more of something new, something different, something that needs to be like a massive thing. Like Persona is another influential RPG, and Persona 5 was freaking huge, and we started seeing more and more JRPGs that include gameplay mechanics similar to the Persona series. So it's safe to say that we'll see another trend. When, I don't know, by which company, by which game, I have no idea. But it does feel like we need something new. Like we need something that can revolutionize the industry again. And then I can guarantee you a lot of studios will make their own version of it. And will probably milk that and benefit from that. You know, they'll create their clone based on that one game that was successful. Because Persona 3 is 2017, Dark Souls 2011. Well, Demon Souls came first, but nobody gave a shit about Demon Souls at the beginning. Metroidvanias became a thing about 7-8 years ago, 10 years ago max. Roguelikes have always been there, but they didn't become a trend until like 5, 6, 7 years ago. So yeah, I think it's about time we start seeing something like a new proposal, something creative that will change the industry. That's on the positive side of things, or the intriguing unknown side of things. On the negative side of things, I fear a lot of companies will go the Genshin Impact route. Unfortunately, they're gonna do gacha games, but instead of releasing them on phones, they will release them everywhere. Computer systems, consoles, PS5, Switch 2, Xbox Series X, and a lot of JRPG companies will do that. Maybe Final Fantasy 17 will be an open world free-to-play gacha game. Dragon Quest 12, maybe Dragon Quest 13. I fear that's where I see JRPGs in 10 years, but I do hope that never happens. Have you played Wandering Sword? No, I know the game, but I haven't played it because it's exclusive on Steam. Octopath Traveler 2, yes, and I fucking loved it. Melphis, I see you asking about villains. I don't want to talk about villains. We've done way too many topics on that before. Do you like it when RPGs decide to break the fourth wall? Yeah, it's fun every now and then. It's a fun thing. Astral Chain, phenomenal action RPG exclusive to Switch. The Last Story, another phenomenal game exclusive to the Wii. Great games. That will be an interesting versus, but I think Astral Chain will win. It sold more. Trails-like games will be amazing. Yeah, probably, but they don't have anything that original. You know, there's nothing that influential or original about the Trail series, to be honest. And the Trail series, especially the from the Kiseki arc, you know, what am I saying? The Trail series introducing this guy took a few elements from other previous JRPGs, so I don't know. I don't see the Trails series as influential as Persona or Dark Souls or Final Fantasy Tactics, you know, or Chrono Trigger. Last Dragoon says, what do you think are some good tactical JRPGs for beginners? I've done videos about that. Look them up online. On YouTube. On WokeTube. We need waifu-only games. No dudes at all. I agree. Trails needs to disappear, in my opinion. It should be... Falcom needs to start something else. There's way too many Trails games connected. Way too fucking many. They need something else. A new universe. And a new series. Stop. Trails, stop. Stop, Falcom. I don't give a shit now, man. Honkai, no. Couldn't care less about gacha. I mean, come on, guys. I just said that I don't give a shit about those games and that I fear the future is gonna be full of them, and you're asking questions about those games? Kinda doesn't make any sense. Do you think The Last Story will be a good remake material? Not remake, it doesn't need a remake, just a remaster. Upscale graphics, making it look better. Good enough for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, maybe. Or maybe just the Switch, you know? I don't know who has the rights. It was published by Exit Games, if I'm not mistaken. Fuck. Well, Exit Games finally is going to release the remaster of the Odin Felgana next year. Finally, because they work for Marvelous. Exit Games is a subsidiary of Marvelous. A lot of people don't know that. It wasn't back in the day when they published those games. Last Story, the PS2 games, you know, PS3 games, Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2. I think Marvelous acquired Exit recently, about like 5-6 years ago, max maybe, you know. So they released a remaster of the Odin Felgana last year, over a year ago, and now they will finally release it for the rest of the world until the next year. It's almost 2 years for a simple remaster. I don't know why. Don't ask me why, but that's just insane. Like, what the hell? Not even Nice America takes that fucking long, man, when it comes to a simple remaster. Or maybe it's being retranslated for modern audiences, you know? Odin Felgana, wokenized, politicized. Wouldn't surprise me. Going back to the last story in games like that, you know? You got my answer. Yes, Jason, it's one of my favorite series. But not anymore. Not even top 10. It's just a series that trends because a new game was released 2 days ago. Probably. I have a lot of Trails fans for some reason. But, I don't know. We often talk about Suikoden too. We haven't talked about Suikoden. That's my favorite series of all time. Welcome, Last Dragoon, to the members exclusive content. Hope you enjoy it. Anyway, so remakes and remasters. I don't know, Dunsk. Re-releasing Trails in the Sky for new consoles. I don't know, but if it does, you know, it's gonna be handled by... Well, Exit has the rights to those games. So we'll see what happens. Because if it was to Nice America, you already know what's gonna happen. Trails in the Sky, the woke version, the safe version. The pronouns version. Doom game shirt? No, it's just a Doom shirt. It says Doom. It's kind of satanic, to be honest. I don't know. It was a gift from my brother, and I wear it because it's black and it's edgy, right? You know, but it's got nothing to do with the game. Indie developers are our only hope now. Some of them, yeah. I've seen a lot of indie RPGs destroyed by politics, or they themselves add these politics to appeal to wider audiences. Mato Anomalies, I'm looking at you. Rise of the Third Power, go fuck yourselves. You know, yeah. I don't see any politics in those games. They politicize their games themselves. You know, probably because they're woke, the developers themselves, or because they want to appeal to woke audiences. But I think right now a lot of indie studios have realized the ferocity of the situation. It wasn't like this 3-4 years ago. It was just beginning, right? So they played it safe. But nowadays they see a lot of gamers, you know, angry about this. They're tired of it. They're sick of this. So I don't know what they're gonna do. I think the safest way is to do nothing, to add no politics, zero politics, and that's it. To develop your game normally as an indie developer, and that's it. You know. Don't include any political views or anything, or don't even trash political views. If I made a game, an indie game, I will trash political views, of course. But that's me, because I don't play it safe. But I think indie developers should play it safe, like stay out of politics as much as they can. That's what I think they should do nowadays, business-wise. Have you played God Hand on PSP? No, I know the PS2 game. It's a beat 'em up, 3D beat 'em up. And I've never played it. I know it, but I've never played it. Dragon Quest is for clowns now? Why did you retract your message? You don't need to play it safe here in the chat. I'm done anyway on YouTube. We can say whatever we want, you know. My YouTube career has been partially destroyed already. And then a lot of people left. What do you think of Unique Jet Silly and new Pharmagia? I watched the trailer on the Nintendo Direct. It looks kind of interesting. It looks like it's not gonna be my type of game, but I've played a lot of games before in my life that didn't look like they were going to be my type of game, and they were. Or I got used to them, you know. But Pharmagia seems like something cool that I probably won't be able to get into, but who knows? You know, it seems to be one of those kind of monster collecting, similar to, I'll be honest, when I watched the trailer, I was like, this is Monster Hunter Stories 3, right? I was like, yeah, I mean, they just remastered the first game, released the second game on other systems, so this has got to be Monster Hunter Stories 3, and all of a sudden, Pharmagia, published by Exit Games, and I was like, okay, well, it looks kind of weird. right? But it does look like you got these protagonists and a bunch of monsters, and the battle system seems like kind of like that, so yeah, it looks interesting. Doesn't look like my type of game, but who knows, maybe I'll play it and enjoy it. But for some reason I doubt it, because I need to stop caring about modern games, man. My last hope is that Spike Chunsoft will keep bullshit politics outside of the 100 line. Out of the 100 line. The 100 line, that's a really good looking strategy RPG, upcoming strategy RPG, developed by the Danganronpa studio. That's my one and only hope, that Spike Chunsoft won't fuck it up. Thank you, my Metal Wolf. I heard from YouTube podcast that Suikoden team favorite anime was Captain Tsubasa and Fist of the North Star. Okay, so which podcast are you talking about, and where did they get that information? Anyway, so Captain Tsubasa, I grew up with that. I was a big fan when I was a little kid. One of my favorite cartoons of all time when I was a little kid, Captain Tsubasa. We knew it in Mexico as Super Champions. It was called Super Champions here in Latin America. Ah, man, the nostalgia. And Fist of the North Star, I heard it, I know it's an anime, legendary, I never watched it. And I know there's a bunch of games. And I know there's one RPG similar to the Yakuza series on the PS4, exclusive to the PlayStation 4. But anyway, didn't know the Suikoden team was a big fan of those animes, if it's true. Do you have any idea how long would it take to get back to the era where we get a lot of good JRPGs? I don't know. Until another big and powerful mafia takes over and destroys these people, we'll be getting the same and the same and the same. Shadows of Valentia, what do I think of the game? I think it's a wonderful game. Certainly one of the best Fire Emblem titles in the series. I made a video called Fire Emblem Worst to Best. I ranked the entire series from worst to best, including the Japanese-only titles. Check it out. The video of the longest RPGs you've played is great, and I had a great time with it. But there are some games that you listed that for me, you cleared super fast. Persona 5 is one of them. Well, I focused on the main story, did some... Well, Persona 5 is side quest game. So you end up doing side content no matter what. And half of the time you don't even know you're doing something optional until you realize, until you do. Yeah? So Persona 5 was like 70 something hours. And in some of the games that I covered in that video from 2 days ago, I did way more. But I just told people, I just wrote the bare minimum. And I want to mention the bare minimum, that this game is gonna take you at the very least 40 hours. 40 hours. When in reality most people will do 45 or 50, right? But I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people out there, well maybe not too many, but there's gotta be people that clear the game in like 40 hours, 42 hours. Because they read faster than you, because they play better than you, because they grind less and figure it out without having to grind. So, yeah. It's a discussion, of course. I didn't read the comments. I don't read the comments in my videos because a lot of people think their opinion is the only one that matters. So, I don't like that fucked up mentality, so I stopped reading the comments a long time ago. But yeah, playtime usually varies from player to player, I've played games that I took too long to finish, and I've seen people saying, wow, why did it take you too long to finish that game? And the other way around too, I put like 40 hours, like The Legend of Dragoon, I beat it in 41 hours and something, That's what my file says on my memory card, my PS1 memory card. It says I beat the game in 41 hours, right? And I've seen people saying, wow, that's a 50-hour plus long game, Yeah, but if you stick to the main story, it's a 40-hour long game. No, 45. Okay, then maybe I'm a better player than you. Or maybe I read faster than you, right? Thank you, Awad Khalid. A little something to support the best gaming channel on YouTube. Thanks a bunch. Keep it up. Cesar, my Mexican brother. Haha. Thanks a bunch, buddy, for the donation. Anyway, so yeah, I don't have that much to say anymore about the topic. But yeah, it's always the same, variety. It varies, it varies in terms of playtime. It's just my problem is that a lot of people don't seem to differentiate between optional stuff and like normal main story stuff. And also, in a lot of games, it plays a major difference if you play the game on which difficulty you play. Sometimes it just doesn't. It just adds a few extra hours. But trust me, there are games that if you play on easy, you do 30 hours, and you play on Xenoblade Chronicles, man. Xenoblade Chronicles, the Definitive Edition, that's a grind fest. I mean, monsters take forever to beat. Every single enemy takes a lot to beat in Xenoblade Chronicles, right? So that's one game that if you play on easy, you're gonna do 30-something hours if you stick to the main story. Ignore the side quests, ignore the exploration, just follow where you need to go, get there, and enjoy the story. And my file on Xenoblade Chronicles, the Definitive Edition, on easy mode, no side quests, it's 30-something hours. And I think I have a screenshot of it. Let me show it to you. Proof. And it's not rushing the game, it's just playing it on easy and ignoring the side content. I hate when people say, because there's a lot of people who think that, oh, this guy rushes the games, he doesn't really enjoy them. You have no fucking idea how many people think that way. Why? How's playing a game on easy and ignoring side content means rushing the game? Jesus fucking Christ, man. Where is it? I have a lot of Xenoblade stuff here. Oh my god. Can't find it. Check out this music from Beyond. Was it Defenders of Oasis? Wow, I can't find. I have a crap ton of Xenoblade images, man. Can't find it, but it's in a video. There's a video I did called. There's a video that I did called "RPGs Aren't as Long as You Think." Check that video out, and I think I showed my screenshot of my playtime of Xenoblade Chronicles. But if you play Xenoblade Chronicles 1 on normal mode, wow, that's gonna add at the very least 10 more hours, and that's what I said in the video from 2 days ago. The top 50 best longest RPGs of all time. If you play the game on normal mode, and if you stick to the main story, 45 hours minimum, right? Do other side content, and of course it's gonna, increase a lot, of course. And I've said this many times before, if people put hundreds of hours into their games, it's because they put those hours. Doesn't mean the games are that long. Okay, it's just people vary depending on how games are played. I've seen people beating Chrono Cross in like 15 hours, and I'm flabbergasted, but I don't go out and say to them, oh, you rushed the game, you didn't enjoy the game, you don't really appreciate it. Go fuck yourself if you think that way, man. Seriously, enough with that mentality. Let people play the games however the fuck they want. The important thing is to play the games, right? How we enjoy games or how we play them is up to us, That shouldn't affect you. Stop attacking other people just because they play games on hard or easy or are completionists or are not, Just enjoy the fucking game. That's what matters. You guys want to do the versus episode now, or shall we wait a bit more? We should wait a bit more. What's my favorite Trails? My favorite Trails series? My favorite arc? Wow, I think it's gotta be Cold Steel. I will probably pick Sky. Well, fuck man, that's a difficult question. In terms of story and characters and charm, and I don't know, there's just something about the Sky trilogy that, man. I'm just really fond of it and nostalgic about it, but Trails of Cold Steel has better gameplay. I've had Oscar on my main channel several times. Awad Khalid. He's been here. There's a bunch of videos where he's been on. We did a couple of top 10s together a long time ago called Top 10 JRPGs with multiplayer or cooperative, couch cooperative mode, and he's there at the beginning. And I actually went to his house to play those games back in the day. We did another discussion called is it easier to get into RPGs nowadays? Because he was trying to get into RPGs back in the day. We haven't done a video in a long time because for personal reasons. Yeah. Go and ask him if you can. I don't feel like sharing his reasons. Sino Saga Kente... Not really, dude. Thank you, Jason. Go fuck yourself, J.A. If you're a grown man and you've been playing video games your whole life and you're still criticizing people on how they play their games, yikes. GTA, boy, that was like 4 months ago. You missed the celebration. You missed the celebration, dude. That was 4 months ago. Have you looked at King's Vein? It's a strategy RPG where splatter blood is part of the magic system. That sounds cool. No, I haven't. I already have the big play button. I just don't show it because, you know, this is a website that shadow banned my channel, doesn't like me, doesn't recommend my videos, so I don't feel like showing off the play button. It's there in a box and that it's gonna stay there. What JRPG do you think has the most underrated soundtrack? Again, that's a video that I did a long time ago. It's called Top 10 Most Underrated JRPG Soundtracks. Check it out. Do you think that the Famitsu scores are reliable? Scores aren't reliable anywhere, man. You may find a score in a website that's too high for a game that you hated, or that's too low for a game that you loved. It's always better to play the games for yourselves. I beat YouTube. You guys beat YouTube. Subscribers themselves beat YouTube. I did nothing. Or maybe I did, maybe I do encourage people to subscribe to my channel. Something that doesn't seem to work nowadays. Have you played Goal Values? No. Isn't that an NES game? Goal Values? I haven't played it though. I know I haven't played it. Do you think game reviews have become a fucking circus? I do. There are not standards for reviewing video games. Circus in what? I don't understand. Like, what do you mean by circus? I mean, I know that's a negative connotation, right? But what do you mean by circus? Like, there's a lot of reviewers trying to be funny, or that they don't even play the games and they just review them after like 1 or 2 hours, or they're too political. What do you mean? A clown fiesta? Again, what do you guys mean? Which Fire Emblem game is the darkest? I will say probably Genealogy of the Holy War. Something really messed up chapters happens in chapter 4. Yeah, and that's too dark. But it's just that. Shadow Dragon had a lot of dark fantasy elements. Played around with the elements. Awakening is kind of dark too. The story's dumb. There's a lot of dark fantasy elements in there as well. The Sacred Stones, maybe. The Sacred Stones might be one of the darkest, to be honest, you know, but Fire Emblem games aren't supposed to be dark. They have some dark stuff in them, but not too dark. Pump it up. I can't because then the next song is gonna be like really loud. Take notes from DSP for channel growth. What's DSP? Thank you for saying that GameSpot and many of the sort have become a circus. I'm trying to ask you, what do you mean by circus? Popular Croatia on the PSP. I played the first 2 hours of it, never went back to it. Well, I don't know if reviewers have become a circus, because I don't know what exactly do you mean by the term circus. What about Tales of Zestiria? Anyway, do you think the Switch Online expansion is worth the money? How much is it right now? I haven't bought it in a long time, man, in years. Fire Emblem Three Houses was also kind of dark. You know, it had the once you get to the chime jump, especially if you play with Edelgard, it's kind of dark, yeah. Or with the other guy, the blondie guy, forget his name. That guy, Dominic? Is it Dominic? Dimitri, thanks. Oh, for sure, that's what you guys mean by circus? Yes, absolutely. They're all a fucking circus. Yes, it's very profitable, I think so, Luis. Vengeance selling over 500,000 copies on its first 3 days? That's extremely profitable for them. If it was Square Enix, you know the drill, right? It wouldn't be profitable. But for Atlus and Sega, that's a lot. And for a Shin Megami Tensei game, those are Persona levels, Persona numbers, man. So for an SMT game to sell 3, that's insane. It's very profitable. So, okay, so $50 a year for the Switch Online with expansion pack. Well, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to answer it like this. I support emulation. And most of the stuff you get with the Switch Online can be played for absolutely free if you have a decent computer or a decent console that can emulate emulators or old games. Like NES, Super NES, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo 64, Genesis. Genesis has a lot of collections that you can buy for dirt cheap nowadays, you know, with a lot of great games in them, some of the best ones out there. But yeah, so if the Switch Online service offered something completely, I mean, a lot of more things, a lot more content, or something that you cannot find anywhere except the Switch, it will be worth it. But $50 for things that, for most of the things that you can do for free online, you know, with a decent computer, no, it's not worth it. Unless you really want to play online with your friends, right? If you are that kind of person, that kind of gamer who enjoys playing online with friends, you know, then yes, maybe it's worth it. But, you know, what do I know? I don't play online. Okay. So circus, according to Donsk, who is the one who asked the question, says not following any parameter. or following trends and not having a structure that really seems professional. Many of the recent reviews are just bitching about the flaws and not explaining it. Really? Okay. Whenever I do reviews, you mean full reviews, right? Because top 10s don't count. I mean, how can you explain everything about a game in a top 10? Like that, because I have the same problem, you know, sometimes I'm like, I want to say this about the game and explain it, and I want to say these other things about the game and explain it, but then there's going to be too much, and yeah, so the top 10 is going to end up being like 40 minutes long. Right? But you mean like an entire video dedicated to just one game, or an entire, you know, review written on a magazine or a website, correct? Okay, so everybody has a different way to review games, but if that's what you mean by circus, then yeah, I kind of agree. But at the same time, you know what? I don't know. I don't read reviews. I don't watch reviews anymore. Game actually requires you to engage with its mechanics. Well, if you're looking for like, for example, in my reviews, if I complain about something, I try to explain why. Like this battle system plays like this and that, and I don't think it's a good idea to do this because it affects that, and it's frustrating. And I mean, yeah. So I don't know, man. Nemo propaganda, thanks a bunch, man. Only 60 thumbs up. Let's fix that. 62 likes now. Do likes really matter? I mean, for the Q&As? I unleashed the Q&As after like 3 hours, man. But do likes matter in like regular videos? They used to matter a long time ago, right? I remember that. Many years ago, but I think they stopped caring about, I mean, likes and dislikes. Like, I have a lot of videos that have like, I don't know, 200 likes, and they have like 50,000 views. Whereas there's a lot of other videos that have like, I don't know, 10,000 views and like 500 likes. Like, I don't think it matters that much, but I don't know. Understanding the YouTube algorithm is like trying to understand that little algebra book from Saudi Arabia. Remember that book? I got that book in school. What do you think of Expedition 33? I only watched the trailer. It looks interesting. It looks like a AAA game, even though it's just an indie. I like the girl. She looks pretty. A pretty redhead. So when you see that in 2024, a AAA game where the female protagonist is pretty, that just shows you it's not a AAA game. Anyway, so I don't know. Hopefully it won't be destroyed by politics, man. Unfortunately, okay, if you're talking about reading reviews, I can't answer your question because I don't read them. I don't care about magazines and websites. I care about their scores, you know, I see the scores to base some of my videos on, like, oh, this game was destroyed by critics, right? But I don't read what they have to say, I don't give a shit. Because there's a lot of agendas in those, I don't know who I'm reading. You know, I read maybe Niche Gamer, that's a good website, based, not politicized. Niche Gamer. That's a good website that writes reviews without politics. They play it safe, right? Okay, yeah, Luis, they play it safe. Exactly. Right? You just don't know who to trust anymore. Like, you see all of these reviews and you don't know who to read. Because you start reading and then you notice the agenda, or you notice that they're playing it safe, or they're doing something that, yeah, I mean, I gave up a long time ago. I'd rather just play the games. And this OST is a banger. What is this, like Atelier Lulua, yeah. Sounds like an Atelier game. Some critics get games that they simply don't like, and as a result they bash the game and knock down its core. Sounds like things that I've done in the past. But at least I have the balls to admit that I'm the one who doesn't like the game. Like Final Fantasy X-2, perfect example. I don't think it's a bad game, but I fucking hate it. But I will never give it a good score, though. But at least I've explained my reasons why, right? I don't know. We can only be objective to a certain extent when it comes to writing reviews. Thanks a bunch, Higgs Bosom. Before I answer your question, we can only be objective as much as, I mean, to a certain extent. You know, we cannot be objective in certain things. Like, I can objectively explain the battle system to you, but when I start saying I don't like this, that's subjective. That's an opinion. So I'm not trying to defend these reviewers, but if somebody gives a low score to a game they didn't like, it just makes sense, you know. Like, do you honestly think I will give a good review or a good score to Resonance of Fate? I don't like the fucking game. What can I say, right? I'm not gonna give the game a good score. I don't like it. Sure, unlike some of those reviewers, you know, I can explain why I don't like the game, or why I think it's bad, or why I think it's convoluted, or blah blah blah, you know, that's the best I can do. But I'm not gonna say, oh, I hate this fucking game, I think it's garbage, but it's an 8 out of 10. I'm gonna do that to avoid pissing off the fans. So, no, I don't like the fucking game, it's a 6 out of 10 to me. Anyway, Higgs Boson. Thanks again for the donation, buddy. He says, between Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9, which one is your favorite and why? 9 will be my favorite. 9 is my favorite, number one, because of nostalgia. That was my first true Final Fantasy game that I ever played. And the way the storytelling works, it's very charming. I'm a big fan of something that most people aren't fans of, and that's having like multiple parties. Sure, at some point the parties come together and it's just one party the rest of the game. But I like that idea a hell of a lot. You have this party now, and then all of a sudden this other party, and then you get to control other characters at the beginning. During the first several hours of the game, you play as Steiner, you play as Garnet, you play as Zidane or Vivi, you know, and I just love that. The game mechanics, you know, in terms of exploration and party management, you know, were just fantastic. And the music is a masterpiece. It's my favorite soundtrack out of the 3 games, and it just blends in so well. Melancholic when it needs to, upbeat when it needs to, you know, it's just beautiful, to be honest. And you have 4 party members. I know this is a dumb reason, but to me the more the merrier. I like 4 party members over 3. In 7 and 8 you have 3 party members in battle, and in 9 you have 4. It matters to me. It's a dumb reason, but it matters to me. And there's a lot of charm, and there's a lot of questioning in life, and who you are, and what's your role in life, and what are you supposed to do, and where do we come from. Like, it touches on a topic that everybody thinks about. Sure, I like dark stories more, so as a result, I should be a bigger fan of Final Fantasy VII, because it's more mature, darker, and maybe in terms of that, it's my favorite Final Fantasy game out of the 3, but in everything else, Final Fantasy IX beats it, in my opinion. That's the best I can give you. I think the battle system is simply an evolution, a great evolution from the ones seen before. 8 was a mess of a battle system, in my opinion, and 7 was just average, you know. It was a good battle system with the death blows, you know, and stuff like that. It's cool, don't take me wrong. I see why it's kind of special, but it's not that special. It was more special in 9 for me. That's it. That's my answer. That's why Final Fantasy IX is better to me personally than 7 and 8. But that was a hard question because 7 and 8, I love them as well. 6, 7, 8, and 9 are, in my opinion, the 4 best Final Fantasy games in history. 12 as well, despite the controversial nature of the game, despite its development, despite not feeling like a true Final Fantasy, blah 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 blah. I think that's my top 5 Final Fantasy games of all time. So yeah, I like it. I like Final Fantasy IX a lot. Nostalgia is probably the biggest factor. Party member difference, game changer. Some of my favorite RPG, Chrono Cross has 3 party members. It's not that big of a deal to me. It's a big deal, but not that big. You know, Chrono Cross has 3 instead of having 4, right? So yeah, it's not that it's a game changer for me or anything. You know, it's just something that matters to me. I pay attention to that. But yeah, the biggest reasons are nostalgia and the gameplay mechanics, how the game works, how the game plays, how the game looks, the events that happen, the pacing of the game. You know, Final Fantasy VII is it's a really slow game, man. The beginning, you start with this really exciting mission. You know that, oh yeah, we're the rebels, we're like kind of terrorists, you know, and we're gonna do this and that whole mission in the macro reactor, you know, it ends up being a bit of a drag sometimes. And then after that, you get to know the characters, you go to town, and then it's a bit slow. You know, in Final Fantasy IX, it's like from the beginning, it hooks you up. You get this meeting, you know, and then you get Vivi, and you play with somebody else, you know. That was so magical back in the day. Nowadays, it's overused, and okay, not that overused, but we've seen it before. But before Final Fantasy IX, that was weird. You know, you start the game with one character and then switch to another one like 10 minutes later. Like, what's going on? It's like the game makes you feel like you have different protagonists and that every single character matters a great deal. That's why. How about that for an argument? Alright guys, it's time. It's time. We're going to do the versus episode right now. We're going to do a versus episode. Today's versus episode. You guys ready for this? Okay, we got 2 modern games. Not too modern. They're from the last decade. Okay, they're modern or modern console, Switch and PS4. But yeah. This is gonna be very unusual because I'm gonna have 2 games competing from different genres. One is a turn-based RPG, the other one is an action RPG. But once I started thinking about this match, I was like, holy shit, I can't decide. Somebody was asking the criteria for my versus episodes in the last Q&A. That's pretty much my biggest criteria. Sometimes it's like, oh, this game versus this one, nah, this one is gonna win. Oh, this one versus this one, nah, it's overrated. Like Chrono Trigger versus Final Fantasy VI, like, And then there's like this right now, and I'm like, holy shit. So today we got Octopath Traveler, the first one, versus Is 8, Lacrimosa of Dana. 2 of the most beloved JRPGs in the past 10 years. They're still getting a lot of attention. They're still getting a lot of love nowadays. Both have become such a big deal. East 8 is the one that revitalized the franchise. It was dead before this and made it extremely popular. Octopath Traveler was a big deal and it's a very influential game, but East 8 also became very influential and it's a very beloved game. Like, what? Yeah. No, Donsk. No. There's some thought process into it. If he was like anything I pull out of my ass or my balls, this wouldn't be fun. Octopath Traveler 1 versus Is 8 Lacrimosa of Dana. Okay. Any version, okay? These games are available everywhere. Everywhere. This one, for those who don't know, this one came out on PlayStation 4 and 5 finally, like a month ago. For those who know, this is everywhere, this is everywhere. Everywhere. Even on Google Stadia. If you actually care about Google Stadia. I've always wanted to ask you guys that. Does anybody here care about Google Stadia? Did you own it at one point? Did you play on it? Do you still use it? Anyway, start voting. Well, that's interesting. Okay, and don't forget to drop your arguments. Damn. They're bald, man. I just think a lot of people are gonna choose. I don't know what's gonna happen, man. I've been thinking about this match all week. I was like, I have no idea what you guys are gonna choose or say. In previous videos, I was like, people are gonna choose this game and they're gonna say this and that about it. Yeah, and they're gonna prefer this game over this other one because of this and that. But I have no fucking clue here. I could say I know people are gonna choose this one because this is a turn-based RPG over the action RPG. Who cares about action? Everything's an action RPG nowadays. We need more turn-based RPGs nowadays. So Octopath, right? But then Ys 8 is like extremely popular and everybody and their moms recommends it. And this is a grind fest, really difficult game. And I don't know. I mean, let's do this. Come on, guys. Wow, it's not that even. Ys 8 is winning. I kind of knew Ys 8 was going to win because it's not a grind fest. Octopath is a grind fest. And that is the only reason why I think Ys 8 is going to win. But I don't know. Octopath Traveler 2, we have a fight. We could do that. But I think I already did that a long time ago on my second channel by myself. I didn't count your opinions. They didn't matter. I'm just kidding. We can do it one day, one of these days. Octopath 1 versus 2. That will be a good contest too. But this is so like what? Alright, so the first argument. Kevin says, so Ys 8. Man, after playing Ys 9, 8 felt a lot more bigger with exploration. I love the character dynamics between Adol and whoever was in his party like Laxia or Dana. And Adol and Dana are a couple. That's your argument? This is Ys 8 versus Octopath Traveler, man, not Ys 8 versus 9. Rephrase your argument. Hong Luong says Ys 8 wins. Only because the character interaction is better. Also, their objectives align better. However, in Octopath 2, the interactions have been improved as well as the motives. Well, we aren't competing Ys 8 versus Octopath 2, it's versus Octopath 1, and I kind of agree. When it comes to character and party interaction, Ys 8 is a traditional game. While in Octopath Traveler, the characters barely talk about amongst themselves, and it's like they ignore each other and they're just fighting by their side just for the sake of it, Yeah, so I agree with that point. Donsk says I am going for Octopath, but for a really narrow margin. By my personal tastes, Octopath is a bit better. Why? Michael Thornton says Ys 8 for me. I feel that the narrative, characters and map was compelling, and I feel that the battle system was what action RPGs should strive to be. I will say Octopath is amazing, but Ys 8 wins for me. Okay? So you think Ys 8's battle system is like the epitome of action RPGs. Okay. JA says Octopath is grindy, has random encounters, bad voice acting, and the characters don't even interact with each other or their stories, but the combat is very fun. So that means you're choosing Ys 8, okay? I agree with everything, but bad voice acting. This game has one of the best voice actors of their generation, but that's just my opinion. To each their own. You didn't like the voice acting, that's okay. Lou says I voted Octopath 1. Though I love Ys 8, Octopath 1 led a revolution with the introduction of HD 2D. I agree with that. Ys 8 is not the first fast-paced action RPG. It only improved what Ys 7 did. I couldn't agree more. I'm a big fan of those games, of both games, man, but yeah, that's a really compelling argument. Octopath Traveler is a very influential game, whereas Ys 8 is just Ys 8, right? That's what you're trying to say, I agree with that. So going back to Donsk, he says I like better turn-based RPGs and I like grinding, but Ys 8 is better in character and story, at least for me. Octopath has a nostalgia factor for me. Ys has Dana, a tough one. So a waifu, okay. Well, you don't like Primrose? What better waifu is there besides Primrose? And Honey, and the healer, and the merchant girl is no waifu. She's a little girl. But yeah, I like the healer. What was her name? The cleric, you know. Ophelia. I fucking love Ophelia. She's gorgeous. She has a killer body underneath her attire. You know, I love Ophelia. But Primrose was my girl in this game because she was the darkest character. The waifus of Octopath Traveler versus the waifus of Ys 8. How's that? Okay, Kevin, that's a better argument. I'll read it. Kevin says, oh fuck. Kevin says, Ys 8 wins. But for real, Ys 8 has great character dynamics. For Octopath 1, from what I saw, it felt like the characters in your party were just along for the ride and there's no chemistry whatsoever. Okay? So Ys 8 wins for you because of the character interaction. Wait, what? The Disaster says, I love action games, but Octopath Traveler had better voice acting, art style, and it's unique because it introduced most people to HD 2D. So another person praising the influence of the game and what it did, what it achieved in the industry. JA, I have no... So what's your pick, man? You just criticize both games. Who's your pick? There are many action RPGs that can be compared to Ys, but Octopath stands out more because of the things you said, right? Okay, sure. Oh, Octopath is your pick. Oh, okay, gotcha. Metal Wolf says, Octopath Traveler 1 HD 2D is amazing art style. The battle system is deep and very rewarding once you use your character jobs and skills. The chapter story is also short and sweet. Okay, so it gets to the point, it's more traditional, and yeah, the battle system is really deep. I agree with that. I love that you selected Octopath 1 instead of 2 for this, very clever. Yeah. It's just, Octopath Traveler 1 and Ys 8 have been out there for years. So instead of, Octopath 2 is, yeah, it sold millions, you know, but it's still kind of a new game. Yeah. Wow, there's a lot of arguments, man. Space Kabuki says, Ys 8 wins. Ys has such a clear identity, incredible soundtrack, great fast-paced and tight action, great setting for an adventure. It just feels like it knows what it is and delivers. Wow, okay. Donsk says, Ys 8 has the upper hand in characters, in my opinion. Oh, that's the same thing you were saying before, man. Mystery Kid says, Octopath Traveler for me. First, because of the combat. Second, the story. Last, if the world and the characters are more interesting, getting to see multiple viewpoints from different protagonists. Wow, so ironically you are praising the characters in Octopath Traveler, yeah. Even though they don't interact with each other, they do get a lot of development and interaction within their chapters, okay? Yeah, Ys 10 is a masterpiece in music, but Octopath... Another reason why I picked these two is because the music. The music in these two games, like, it's different, right? It's very different, but they're both amazing OST masterpieces. The soundtrack is a masterpiece on each game. Yes, I think I prefer the one on Ys 8. I agree with you guys, and the music is better in Ys 8. Not better, it's more like, I like it more because it's my type of genre, it's my type of music. But the soundtrack in Traveler is like, wow, goth tier. Shin's RPG says, Octopath Traveler for me, because of the battle system. You really need to strategize to break the enemy's defenses, and importantly, it's turn-based. It's very similar to the Bravely series. Oh, okay. Yeah, great battle system in Octopath. Male Ale says, Octopath Traveler is hard, and if you are not prepared, it will kick your butt. Though if you are in a story segment, using the inns are free. So, you prefer Ys 8? In the skills, you can reduce at random encounters. Another skill you can to have higher chance to run. Yeah, So eventually you learn. Some jobs learn you that skill, right? Interesting. Poison Control. Have you guys played this game? Amazing, amazing music. Octopath is an expensive game on PS4 and PS5. Yeah. That's why I have the Switch version, and I'm fine with that Switch version, but the Switch version is also expensive. And the best way to play this game is on Steam, maybe. It's gotta be cheaper on Steam, right? Or Xbox. If you like challenge, you play Octopath. If you like waifus, you play Is 8. But what about the waifus? Well, okay, I'll give you this. The waifus are 16-bit graphics, pixel art. And you have full-fledged 3D models in this game. Okay. Anthony and Anne. Anthony says, I choose Is 8. Octopath is kinda hard and grindy. Is 8 is more accessible and less grindy. I am too busy for grindy games. Yep, that's a fact. Octopath Traveler is a grindfest, no matter what. Eikichi Onizuka says, I chose Is 8. Octopath Traveler lost me because the characters have zero reason to be together. We have a very low number of skills and most of them are general among characters, and the animations are minimalist. The animations being minimalist is part of the charm, it's the type of game it is, but okay, if that's your opinion, I respect that. Juan Castillo says, hard to pick, but Is edges it out. Love the story, exploration, and following the connection with Dana. It kept me hooked throughout, unlike Octopath Traveler at times. I had to push through Octopath at times. If all the stories were Primrose level, Octopath may have won for sure. Oh, wow. So if Octopath didn't have 8 protagonists and Primrose was the main character and the whole story revolved around her, it would be your pick? Wow, that's interesting. I call this polling valid. Is 8 is a PlayStation Vita game. That's right. So you like Octopath Traveler more because of the nostalgia factor. Alright. Is 8 has Sunshine Coastline. End of argument. The end. Killer track, man. It's become such a beloved track and very memorable. I agree. That's it's overrated. I know, but it's so good, man. It's so fucking good. Yeah, in terms of music, Octopath Traveler is a masterpiece of a soundtrack, but most people will agree Is 8 is just fucking glorious bangers. Smiling Dog says, for me, I have a love for Octopath Traveler due to its amazing soundtrack, 10 out of 10, and have a similar vibes to Tactics Ogre, Let Us Cling Together, due to its setting and certain feel to the battle system. Okay, yeah, it's more on the Yasumi Matsuno vein. I agree with that. It's not that even, but Is 8 is still winning with 57%. Octopath Traveler 1, 43%. Yeah, almost 70 votes. I think Is 8 is going to win this one. Okay. Damn. Almost there to my own argument. Just a few more minutes. No, Tales of Graces, right? Yeah. Tales of Graces music. Octopath 2 is on Game Pass. It is. But you can love, it's okay to love the Octopath Traveler soundtrack, man, it's amazing. This was a good debate. It isn't over yet. Or is it over? Nah, it's not over yet. Keep voting, people. I want to see more votes. In the last Versus episode was Wild Arms versus Grandia. Didn't get that many votes because the games are not that popular. These two are way more popular. Not really Donsk. Not really. Your argument, he says the poll states that turn-based RPGs are fading against action games. Nope. What if this was competing against Persona 5? Or Dragon Quest 11? Come on, man, those games will win by a landslide, and you know that. That's why I didn't put Ys 8 versus Dragon Quest 11 or Persona 5. And they're turn-based RPGs, so no. An entire game based on Primrose's story would have been epic. Yeah, she is a wonderful character. But there's other characters in here that are really worth playing, like Alfin. Alfin, man. At the beginning, it was like this is one of the most generic characters in the party. His story is gonna be ass, you know, and wow, the shit that happens in Alfin's story, man, that was wow. And then, well, was the guy with the big Olberic? Olberic's story was like kind of, it was a good story, but it's classic. I don't want to say generic, has some uniqueness to it, but it's classic. It's a classic story about rivalry and jealousy and revenge, you know. I like it. I like it. Ophelia's story was okay. Tressa's story was also interesting, funny, charming. It's the charismatic protagonist of the game. Hanit's story was interesting, but it was kind of like not very RPG material, to be honest. Therion's story was also interesting. Pretty dark. Cyrus' story was also one of the most interesting stories. But it's more of a technical story. My opinion, Alfin and Primrose have the better stories. Well, I guess I'm gonna go. 73 votes. Now I'm gonna wait till 80 votes. You know what? I thought about this, like, this morning I was like, should I put Ys 8 versus Trails, any Trails game? Ys 8 is gonna win, because the Trails games are connected, and you gotta play them from the beginning, and yeah, a lot of people have developed this disdain towards the Trail series, and for good reasons, because they need to start from Trails in the Sky, and they just don't want to. Too lazy. There's too many Trails games. Now Daybreak comes out, and yes, it's more standalone than the others. People can jump into Daybreak no problem, but it's still connected. It still has characters from the previous games, and they spoil some things to you. So, once again, Trails needs to die. I fucking love the Trail series, you guys know that, but it just needs to die. Falcom, please do something else. It's time to move on. Leave that universe alone. Enough. Create a new IP. Exactly, Kevin. So that's why Ys 8 will destroy any Trails game, in my opinion. Luis, that's a really easy question, actually, which that will be, I think, SMT. What SMT does better than other franchises is keep a story that's mature and dark and, you know, risky. Kind of politically incorrect in some areas, you know, offending. It takes those risks. That's what they do. Better than all the other franchises, right? Octopath Traveler is a brutal grind fest. Yeah. 77 votes. Come on, guys, give me 3 more. 3 more votes. I think the outcome is predictable, you know, but give me 3 more votes, people. You're welcome, Donsk. What? Ys 8 is similar. It takes influence from Suikoden. That's right. You recruit party members, or recruit characters, right? Yeah. Has some Suikoden vibes to it. Tales of Vesperia versus Trials of Mana? No. Vesperia will win by landslide, man. I want Tales of Vesperia to be my next Tales versus something. I haven't decided what yet, but Tales of Vesperia, it's gotta be. Well, 1 more vote, people, and I'll close the vote, and I'll give you my argument. Octopi is a grind fest. Second chapter of any character is the feeler of the brave and the bold. The filter of the brave and the bold. Okay. To me personally, I'm not gonna do this versus episode, but I've never been able to decide between East 8 and Trails of Cold Steel 4. Like, I don't know, to date. If I put that up, Trails East is gonna win because it's the standalone game. 4 is a sequel. It's gonna lose no matter what, right? You gotta play the others to get into it or to appreciate it, right? But to me, if I had to, picking between East 8 or East 9 and Cold Steel 4, that's hardcore. So that's the end of the poll. That's the end of the poll. East 8 won with 55%, whereas Octopath Traveler lost with 45%. Wow. I honestly wasn't expecting East 8 to win, which is my pick. Seriously, people, I was expecting Octopath Traveler to win, it was pretty even, to be honest. 55-45, that was pretty even. One of the most even polls we've seen so far. So, yeah, East 8 is my pick. I love Octopath, and I think in terms of storytelling, it's the better game. The story in Octopath Traveler is one of the best of its generation of the last decade. It's one of the best stories ever written. Every character is rich with development, rich with darkness, rich with different situations that they go through and make them grow. Whereas East 8 is just the power of friendship and the adventure and whatnot, Octopath Traveler wins in terms of story, but in everything else, East 8 wins. I love the battle system in Octopath Traveler, don't take me wrong. I fucking love it. I think it's deep, like some people were saying. It's more engaging, but at the same time, it's a bit more repetitive because it's a grindfest. You do get to enjoy the battle system a lot and to appreciate it, and it's awesome, it's badass, don't take me wrong, but the game's a grindfest. So you do battles over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and you get tired of it. You start developing some kind of love-hate relationship with the battle system. And East 8 doesn't do that to you. It's action. What I'm trying to say is that I prefer the combat in Octopath Traveler, but East 8 wins because it doesn't do that to you. It's not a grindfest. And the graphic style, it's much better than in Octopath, of course. I love the graphic style, it's just beautiful, but East 8 is just as beautiful in its own way. And it's so hard to compare them both because they're different graphical styles. It will be like comparing Chrono Trigger with Persona 5. Amazing graphics, amazing visuals, but they're very different, right? But in here, it's a tie, I can't decide. You guys know me, I'm a huge fan of HD 2D. So I love Octopath Traveler and the visuals, but the scenarios, the scenery, the island itself, the character design, the character colors, it's just, East 8 looks fantastic, I can't decide. Music, like I was saying before, wins in East 8. It's just, Octopath Traveler, the soundtrack is a masterpiece, very worth listening to outside of the game, but East 8 has so many bangers, and it's more oriented to the type of music genres that I listen to in real life. I'm a metalhead, I'm a rocker, I like rock music, metal, punk, I love that, and East 8 has got you covered in that, and not just in that. Some of the not rockish themes or metal-ish things in East 8 are fantastic. They grow on you, and they're awesome. And someone was saying that East 8 has these Suikoden vibes to it because you recruit, like, castaways that are stranded on the island, and even though they don't fight, you recruit them, and it has that Suikoden vibe to it, so that gets points. That's very biased, I know that, what I'm saying, but it wins because of that. And it's such a memorable game. Both are very memorable. Octopath is more influential, but just because it's more influential doesn't make it better. Yeah, this was a tough fight. I will give preference to Octopath because it's a turn-based RPG, and I love turn-based over action any day. But East 8 just has a lot of personality. More personality than Octopath Traveler, and it's just not a brutally hardcore grindfest. It doesn't. East 8 respects your time. Octopath Traveler, as amazing as it is, it just doesn't. It wastes your time a lot with meaningless battles and a lot of grinding for no other reason than to make it more challenging. And East 8 is a very challenging game, don't take me wrong, right? It's very challenging, especially for a dumbass like me who kind of sucks at action RPGs, but I still prefer East 8. It's more balanced, and it's more, easier to get into. So, wow, that's a battle. That was a real hardcore battle. In previous episodes, I had my doubts, and I had my preferred game since the beginning, I'll be honest, but this was just like the previous episode, Wild Arms vs. Grandia. It's just, wow, mind-blowing, but I love these games way more than those other two. It was harder for me to choose, but yeah. Wow, my pick is the one that everybody else pick, the winner, right? It's usually the other way around. I pick the loser. But now my pick won. East 8, Lacrimosa of Dana is the winner for me. Yeah, but Octopath, man. But I will say, another thing that I would like to say as an extra is that the replay value. This one doesn't have a lot of replay value. No New Game Plus, so if you ever play this again, you're gonna have to grind again. You're gonna have to go through all the bullshit again. East 8 has New Game Plus, you're overpowered, you can even play it on hard difficulty, on the nightmare difficulty to challenge yourself, overpowered, over-leveled, It has more replay value. I'd play this game for the second time any day over Octopath Traveler. That's a really simple reason why East 8 wins for me. Plus the other reasons that I just mentioned. So that's my pick, and that's it. Thanks for watching. Yeah! My pick won! It's the second time my pick has ever won. And that's it, guys. That's it for the Q&A. That's it. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much for voting. Thanks to everybody who donated today. I appreciate the donations. Today was a blast, actually. Lots of money. Thank you for that. So that's it, everybody. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time.